Hi, guys. Welcome back to Giggles and Goals. It's an awesome way to start this out.
Giggles for
Um,
sure.
yeah, always
Go,
giggles.
child, go away. J-Bus.
Anyways, welcome back to Giggles and Goals, episode 2. We're back, and yeah, it's gonna be an interesting conversation, I think. Trigger warning ahead of time for just in case something sets y'all off, because we know.
Because we're doing mental health?
Yep. We're gonna talk about suicide rates and all of that. So it can be triggering for some people.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I did not get to do as much research as I thought I would get to today at work. So I have this much statistics.
Yeah. So I thought I was gonna do more research than I did, and then I didn't. So
Yeah. But
it happens.
with that, I think we both have personal experiences. We have friends, family that have experiences with this stuff. So we may not have all the statistics in the world of saying like, oh, women at this age are more likely, or men at this age, or whatever. But I'm confident between the two of us, we have a lot of personal stories, personal experience
Yeah,
with mental
absolutely.
health. So
Yeah. I think that's gonna be the big thing is just to try to get people to understand that being mentally ill isn't necessarily a bad thing. Like we all struggle, we all have our things, and it's how you kind of come out of it and how you use it day to day to kind of not necessarily cope, but kind of just run through your certain situations is kind of how I think.
yeah, it's rough.
Yeah.
I mean, I spoke to you. How many months ago was that? Now was that January? I think it was January when my psychologist prescribed me fluoxetine, the
Yeah.
off-brand of Prozac. And it's rough, guys. It can be very rough. I am very much so against medication. Like, I'm anti-medication to the fullest. Like, I will want to try everything and anything before I get put on medication. And so, like, even painkillers, like ibuprofen, like, I won't take ibuprofen until I have, like, an excruciating headache where it's like, I cannot function right now. And then I'll finally take some ibuprofen. So I'm, like, extremely, extremely anti-medication for everything. I would rather try herbal remedies, or even just other coping stuff to kinda help manage. But I do understand that there's some stuff, like, you can't help, right? Like, there is a legit chemical imbalance of stuff that makes people predisposed to depression, anxiety, and a bunch of other stuff. So,
So
it
that's the
is
other thing too that I think
hard.
that people don't really understand is you might be anti-medication, but sometimes it's just you just can't.
Yeah.
Um I'm a perfect example. I literally just cannot be without medication. I am manic depressive. And so when I'm not on medication, I quite literally lose my mind. I walk around screaming and fighting about everything. And it's not
Yeah.
necessarily that anything happened. It's just I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. And so everybody's enemy number one. And because
Yeah,
it's
and it's
only
like
me and
no
Damien.
nothing fixes it, you
Right,
know?
exactly, and there's nothing to kind of counteract the chaos that's going through your brain, and it's not just and I want people to understand that having mental illness, each one is so
Unique.
unique to each person, right? So I come from a long line of mental health, you know, people people that struggle with their mental health, and I think it gave me a little bit of a leg up because I was able to be a little bit more, aware of certain things,
Yeah.
right? But for me, my episodes were not just mental, it was physical too for me. It was a full body, almost panic attack in the process of my brain is just going a million miles a minute. And
Yeah.
so there was nothing anybody could say or do that would calm me down and bring me back down to earth, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
And when you're on those highs, oof, those good days, they're so, so good, right? You're feeling
Yeah.
friggin' level 10, you're up in the sky, like, it's amazing. And then you come down from it and you're like, everything sucks.
Yeah.
Everyone hates me, everybody, you know.
Life sucks, life is
Yeah,
miserable, I hate
it's
myself,
horrible. Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
yeah, it's rough. I my family has, like, similar issues, like, depression runs on both sides, addiction heavily runs on both sides, so, like, my mom always kinda, like, prepared I'd say more so prepared me than my brother, I think, for stuff like that, like, she really 1, she didn't want me to be exposed at a young age to certain, um, medications because she didn't want me to be reliant on it, right? Um, so, like, I had seen, like, a state-provided psychologist. She couldn't I guess she was more like a counselor in a way because she couldn't prescribe. She could recommend, like, over-the-counter stuff for certain things, right? And at the time, um, I was just, like, really depressed, um, and then I had, like, a perfection issue where, like, the littlest things would set me off and make it feel like I was a complete and utter failure, like life was
Like an
over.
OCD moment.
Yeah, 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 but it
Yeah.
was like it was so weird though, because like it's like, I remember, one of the big ones that my mom was like, "What the fuck?" about was, I was getting my permit license. I was getting my license, and in Nevada, when you pay for your permit test, it pays for your first driver's license test, right? And it was only like $10 at the time, so it's not like it was crazy expensive.
Yeah.
But so when you pay for your permit test, it pays for your initial driver's test. Okay. And so everybody says they get their first driver's test free. Well, a bunch of my friends who had already gotten their license always said, like, oh, yo, you're going to fail the first time. Like it happens to everybody. They all fail the first time because the DMV says the first one is free, even though you paid for it when you got your permit.
Right.
So they'll fail you the first time and make you have to come back to pay another $10 to test again, right? Because
Dirty.
they want their money's worth kind of thing, right? And I
Right.
was like, "There's no way, like, there's no way that everybody fails their first time," right? And then my mom and my stepdad worked with me so, so much. Like, when I had my permit after I had done all my hours, like, I was driving us from Vegas to, like, Phoenix, which is, like, a 5, 6-hour drive.
Yeah.
Right, and I
Easily.
was doing the driving, like, I
Yeah.
was the one getting on the interstate, getting on the freeways, and driving us all the way there, so it's not like I was a bad driver or anything. So I remember I take my driver's test, and I failed. I got, like, a 53. Like, I failed horribly, and I was like, "Bro, there's no fucking way," and I lost it. I thought it was the end of the world,
Yeah.
absolute end of the world because I'd failed. And, like, my mom was like, "No, it's fine, we'll just go back and test, like, we'll go back tomorrow, we'll test again, we'll go back tomorrow, we'll test again," and I was like, "No, life is over, I'm a failure, like, I'm never
Yeah.
gonna succeed," like, the whole fucking world was over.
Yeah.
But it was so crazy because I went back the next day, tested, and got a 98, and my mom threw the biggest bitch fit at the DMV. She's like, "How the fuck does she come in here and get a 53 one day, and then the next day gets a fucking 98? Like, that's not humanly po—" Like, she threw the biggest fucking fit at the
Which
DMV about it.
fair. Like,
Yeah. So then I went back to school after all this, right? And I was like, "Well, failed the first one, passed the second one, so I guess it's true. Everybody fails their first one." But it was
so
with anything. It was the end of the world.
yeah. But I also think that there's like this stigma that all women are chemically imbalanced. And I think that's like a big thing that I don't think people realize, like, genuinely, we pretty much all are. Like, it's not a stigma. It's if you look at most women, we need some sort of
Something.
something, some sort of coping mechanism, some sort of happy pill, mommy pill, whatever you wanna call it.
Yeah.
Um, and I, going through the whole process, learned that they will not diagnose if I remember correctly, they will not diagnose anybody with, like, a manic depression or anything kind of, more in depth until they're 21, at least 21.
Oh, okay, I was saying, I was like, "Bro, I got."
No, no, no. So when I was 16, I think,
Yeah,
it might have even been younger than that. Um, I remember going in for our school physicals, right? Because you have to do whatever. And I remember my mom looking at the nurse, whatever they are, and being specifically asked my mom, like, "Hey, does she suffer from any kind of, like, mental illness, anything like that?" And she's like, "Well, she's always kind of suffered from depression." And I remember it was vitamin D deficiency. That was their first go-to. It was seasonal depression. Mind you, this is in Jersey. Like, 9 months out of the year, it's gloomy, it's cold, it's wet,
yeah.
it's
I mean,
miserable.
that's pretty common in, like, places like Washington, Oregon,
Right.
Jersey,
Um,
and places up north.
so they were like, "Oh, take these vitamin D pills. They're like a high dose, great, awesome, fantastic." And I remember being so excited just to have some sort of answer
Yeah.
that I was like, "Oh my god, this is working. This is amazing. Blah 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 blah." And then after probably a couple of weeks, I was like back to my normal self.
Oh my god,
So,
that's how I felt on my fluoxetine. Like, at first, like, you get that placebo effect, like, it's
yeah,
supposed to do this great thing, right?
yeah.
So, I, like, felt like I was more relaxed, I felt like I was calmer, like, I was able to just, like,
Mhm.
breathe, you know? Like, just, I guess, like, settle my brain in a
Yeah,
sense?
just be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just be. And, like, almost exactly 2 weeks into it, especially when I had to start upping my amount that I was taking, I was, like, dead. Like, I'd go to work and I'd be like, "What's the fucking point of work?" Like, I just sit here
Yeah.
and watch
Why am I
cameras
here?
all day, like,
Yeah.
7 hours to go. And then I'd, like, get in my car and I'd be like, "I don't wanna listen to music," and I'd turn on my audiobook and I'd be like, "Well, I really don't wanna listen to this either." So I would just drive home with, like, no music, no nothing, and
Yeah.
then I'd get home and I'd be like, do I guess I gotta make dinner? Fuck, I guess we'll make dinner." Like, I just had, like, no, like, I was still doing the stuff that I liked, like, I was still gaming, but I had a really hard time, like,
Being
staying into
interested.
it. Yeah, like,
Mhm.
staying into it, like, it just was really hard, and then, um, the insomnia, it took 3 days of insomnia, and I was like, "We're done." And then
So that's
obviously the other side effect that comes with SSRIs, right? Like, that was miserable.
so that's something that they don't tell women specifically.
So I asked about it. I asked
Okay.
about it because I know, like, obviously taking some of the classes that I've taken for my degree, we talked about SSRIs and abnormal psychology and stuff, right? So I knew a bunch of the side effects, you know? So, like, she told me, the main one we'll see is, the teeth grinding, right? I forget what the actual diagnosis is for teeth grinding. It starts with a B, I think. But she told me teeth grinding would be increased, which was really shitty because I already have teeth grinding issues. Um, she told me, you can get a little bit of drowsiness or nausea, right? Um, and some minor thing about appetite, like, it has the potential to maybe increase your appetite, like, if you don't normally eat enough, it'll make you wanna eat enough. She's like, "But if you're kind of an overeater, it'll kinda subside that just a little bit." So it was weird. And I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, it being an SSRI," I said, "Does it check the box for libido?" And she was like, "It does, like, it's on there." She was like, "But we primarily see those issues in our younger male patients between the ages of, like, 18 and 26." She was like, "Usually, it affects males more so than women." She's like, "But it is possible." And sure enough, like, I think it was the last day I took it. So I think I was on it 2.5 weeks. And the last day that I took it was the day that Amber and I decided to be intimate. And it was, like, so detrimental to, like, not be able to enjoy it, that it, like, had me in tears. I was crying. I
Yep.
was crying, and Amber was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "It's not weird." Like, I was so distraught and upset about it, and she's like, "Honey, it's fine. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal." And I was like,
Yeah.
it ruined my whole world. I was like, "I'm not fucking sleeping. I can't fucking eat right now because my teeth," I was grinding my teeth so hard at night that I was waking up, bro, I couldn't chew oatmeal. That's how bad it hurt. Like, I couldn't chew oatmeal, just a
Why are
little
you
bit.
chewing oatmeal, first of all? Let's talk about that, you psycho.
I just chew it a little bit to, like, make it feel like it's easier to swallow, you
What?
know? I don't know. I do the same thing with mashed potatoes. Mashed potatoes, like, I'll squish them against the top of my mouth, and then I'll swallow them.
Okay.
So, but, like, I couldn't even, like, kind of chew it just a little bit to make me feel more comfortable swallowing it. So, like, we had gone out for pizza, and I think I ate one slice of pizza, and I was like, "I can't eat." And Amber was like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "My fucking teeth hurt so fucking bad because I was grinding at night while I was sleeping, and then I already have a grinding issue, like, on its own during the day, and during the day, I was, like, subconsciously grinding that I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
So I would, like, be at work, and I would try to, like, stick my tongue through my teeth so that if I started to grind, I would at least feel it. It didn't last very long because it was very hard to, like, concentrate and try to remember to do that at the same time. But, yeah, like, 3 days of insomnia, the teeth grinding so bad, and then that, I was like, "We're done. We're off.
Yeah.
Not for me."
So, I think that's something else that most people, I would say, don't get explained is that there is a difference, in the medications, and there's no such thing as one medication for one specific thing, right?
Yeah.
So, I was on when I first started my, I don't know, mental illness journey, I guess you could call it, um, because I've been on medication for, oh boy, I think the first time I was on medication, I think I was, like, 18. So it's been 12 years I've been on and off of medication.
Yeah.
Um, they put me on that I can the earliest that I can remember, they put me on Zoloft, and
I've
I
heard
was like,
horrible things about Zoloft.
it's a horror story, honestly, it's a horror story, and I remember being on it for, like, the first week and being like, kinda still me, but kind of out of it, whatever, not a big deal, didn't think anything of it. Second week, kind of a little more intensely not me, more so than me. And then by the 3rd and 4th week, I was almost a complete zombie.
Yeah.
Um, Damon and I, we didn't fight, but we didn't talk either, and I could care less either way.
Yeah.
He'd get mad just to try to get some sort of emotion, and there was nothing.
You'd just be
Absolutely.
like, "Meh."
Yeah, pretty much. And when I talked to my doctor about it, she was like, "Well, that's why we say give it, like, the 4 to 6 weeks because it's your brain's relearning how to be okay." And I was like, "Okay, I can kind of understand your body's getting back into, like, the chemical norms." Okay.
Yeah.
Gave it a couple more weeks, and still I was a zombie. I didn't want any kinda intimacy, I didn't wanna talk, I didn't wanna nothing, I didn't want anything.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "Okay, well, we'll put you on this and Wellbutrin." So I was on both of them, and they were supposed to make me more so myself. And I very remember very little of that whole time.
Jesus Christ.
Like, my memory was just
I
gone.
think that's the hardest thing I have with the mental health game, right? It is in fact that. It's a fucking game.
Yeah.
It's a game of try this medication, but you have to at least give it 4 to 6 weeks. Regardless of how much you hate it 3 weeks in, you should give it the 4 to 6 weeks.
Yep.
And if that doesn't work, well, then we'll take you off of it for at least a week, maybe 2, and then we'll try another one.
Mhm.
And then you gotta give that one 4 to 6 weeks. And it's like this, it's like you're fucking playing fucking I Spy or hide and go seek with the different fucking
Mhm.
medications. Like, it could take you 2 years trying 20 different medications till you finally get the right one. Like,
Yep.
and I think that's the thing I hate. Like, I think there should be ways to test to figure out, like,
Which one specifically works best for you?
yeah, like, there should be a blood test I don't even know if it's a blood
Something.
test or, like, a brain scan. There should be something to pinpoint, okay, this medication works really good with these type of people that have
Mhm.
this brain activity or this blood or whatever the fuck the case is, however they go
Yeah.
about finding it out. But, like, we're in 2026, bro, and you're telling me
Yeah.
I still have to take, like, 30 different medications to figure out the one?
Yeah, we still gotta
Like,
play whack-a-mole pretty much.
yeah, like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, ugh. And then, like, if you tell your doctor, like, you know, "I don't want a medication that's gonna do ABC," well, you just cut off, like, 95% of your types of medications because SRIs, the huge one for me is, like, libido. If it has anything to do with my libido, I don't fucking want it. I
Yeah.
really don't want it. Like, you're telling me as an adult, like, something that I every adult thoroughly enjoys and does with their partners, like, you're telling me, like, that gets put on pause?
Yeah.
Like, fuck no.
And it's almost every single SSRI.
Yeah,
There's not
almost
a
every single
single
one.
one that they're like, "Oh, take this, and it'll do everything you want." And it's like, Okay, I
Yeah,
wanna feel like I'm 16 again and, like, be into my partner like I was 16 again." Like,
yeah,
I wanna feel that way, and
yeah,
it's almost impossible. I think I
yeah.
went through 5 or 6 different medications over the course of, I wanna say 4 years, and then when my
And you just
by
imagine the damage that it does, though, like, I know it
and it
has to
does.
do damage. It
So that's
has
something
to
else
do
that they don't
damage.
tell you either, is when you so, like, right now, right, I'm on, Lexapro. I'm generic version, but Lexapro, and if I stop taking it and then I wait, like, a month and go back on it, take it for a couple months, get off of it, go back on it. Every time that you do that, you're screwing with your chemical balances.
Yeah,
So,
and
like,
then it starts making it to where you have to up your dosage.
up your dosage, and this is something else they don't tell you, other symptoms
Will
start to
pop
show
up.
up.
Yeah,
So instead of it just being manic depressive, now you're okay. So let's just say you just start depressed. So now instead of depression, now you might end up with manic depression. Okay. You go
yeah.
on and off it, on and off it, on and off it. Well, you might end up showing signs of multiple personalities or um, whatever.
Disassociation or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I had an aunt who, I don't even like calling her an aunt because she's fucking psycho. See you next Tuesday. But she was on and off medication for so long that I genuinely believe that that is what is wrong with her. They tried to diagnose her with everything under the sun and just tried to see what would stick essentially.
Yeah, like they were just throwing a dart at a
So
fucking wall.
so it was literally they tried to diagnose her with schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, she had they tried to diagnose her with DID at one point. I mean, you name it, they tried to stick it to her. And it got to the point where I realized it was bad when she went off on a tangent. Her and I did not speak for 6 months, and she called me up and was like, "Hey, we don't talk anymore. How come?" I was like,
You not
because
remember
you
that big
said
blowout?
all." Yeah, right? You said all of this and then never apologized, not once. I would have never said that to you. But you did. And it wasn't just at me, it was at my husband, so
Yeah.
no.
Yeah, it's a I don't know. And maybe it just falls onto women like that because we deal with our emotions, but I think at the same time, like, I don't think doctors have ever really dealt with women's feelings or emotions or stuff that's going on, right? Like, you see it all the time.
Right.
You know something's not right, and they do your blood work, and they're like, "Oh, your blood work's good, but your vitamin D is low. Take vitamin D, you'll be fine."
Yeah.
Like,
It's
"Oh,
always
some."
vitamins, always
Yeah,
vitamins.
always vitamins. Vitamin D, B12,
Yeah,
zinc, and maybe magnesium. Like, those are your top hitters, right?
yeah.
Like mine, I know my vitamin D is constantly low, constantly low. Which I don't understand fucking how. Like, even when I was coaching softball for one of my kids, we were in the sun
All the time.
constantly, constantly. And sure enough, I went to the fucking VA. They did my blood work and they were like, your vitamin D is like low, low. And I was like, how low is low, low? And she was like, you should be like in the 30s or 50s. You're at 19. And I was like,
Oh,
yeah, that's pretty low.
that's low, low.
So, like, now I'm constantly on a vitamin D medication or, well, vitamin.
Yeah.
But I sure as fuck ain't paying for that. The VA's paying for it.
So that's the other thing too, right, is, like, they say that the average person should get at least, I think it's like 15 to 20 minutes of sun a day.
Yeah.
And that's fine and dandy. But what about the people that work inside and have no access to be outside? Like,
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that, yeah, I had a girl when I was stationed in California, she worked 12 hours, she came in at night when the sun was down, and she left work before the fucking sun was up,
right.
and then during the day, she's fucking sleeping.
And then they wonder why night shift people friggin' age and go literally crazy.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, yeah, it's rough.
So I looked up
Definitely rough.
some statistics on like just the difference between like men and women and the suicide rates and stuff because
Yeah,
you always hear that the suicide rates are high, right?
yeah.
And we're talking about normal everyday people. We're not talking about military because obviously their suicide rate is crazy, crazy, crazy
Still I
high.
think it's still around, like, 22 a day or some shit.
Yeah, 22, 23, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, and it says that men are actually 4 times higher to commit suicide than women,
I think it's 'cause they
and
don't deal.
they don't. Um, to make you feel even worse, it's more likely in men ages 75 and up for them to just they're just done.
I could see it.
It's horrible.
I could see it. I mean, I looked at like, you look at your grandparents, right? Like,
Mhm.
your grandpa worked all his life, did nothing but work, and then they eventually have to retire
Yeah.
and can't work, and then they just do nothing. Like, I remember my father's dad worked at the Ford Proving Grounds out there, like, his entire fucking life. That's all he fucking did was work at the Ford Proving Grounds, and, he eventually had to fucking retire because he was getting too old, and then, the only thing I remember about him is, like, he was always in his chair. Like, he eventually got to the point where, like, he couldn't mow his grass, he couldn't do his lawn care, and he was very, very fucking meticulous, extremely meticulous, and, he couldn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He sat in his chair all day and watched TV. My
Which is
grandma
sad
my
that that's
grandma
like
would bring him his meals. She'd bring him his insulin so he could inject it and stuff. Like, the dude didn't do anything. He fucking sat, watched TV, pissed shit, and slept.
which is again, it's so sad that that's like retirement kills, but it's like it's genuinely true for like men.
Yeah, unless you're doing something, like, unless you have the retirement where you can go and do stuff, like, do the stuff you never got to go do, like, go
Yeah.
travel or, whatever, but, like, eventually you hit the age, and depending on what issues you have, like, you can't really be trusted to go do that on your own.
Right, exactly. So I have it pulled up, um, and I'm just gonna read it to you because 'cause I'm not as technologically inclined as Damien. Um, but it says over 49,000 people died, by suicide in 2023. So that's 1 person every 11 minutes. Um, many adults think about suicide or attempt suicide. It says 12.8 million seriously thought about it, 3.7 made a plan, and 1.5 attempted
Jeez,
just in 2023.
jeez.
Now, I do know that those numbers are low for like 2020. Like, if I'm not mistaken, 2020 was really, really bad.
S
Um,
COVID fucked everything up.
I- yep. And I was just about to get there because of the COVID shenanigans. So it's actually really strange. The chart that I'm looking at right now says age adjusted rates per 100,000. So in 20, geez, in 2000, it was at 10, just a little over 10. Uh, and then since 2020, we've had a slow rise. It started dropping in around 2018 and started to go down. And then COVID hit and it started to go back up.
Yeah.
So,
And I'm sure right now with the current state of everything, it's not going down anytime soon. Just saying, just
mm,
saying.
so said suicide rates increased 37% between 2000 and 2018 and just decreased 5% between 2018 and 2020. So 2 years, 5% decrease is actually
Decrease.
quite a bit.
Yeah,
And then it says, however, rates returned to their peak in 2022.
yeah.
So the highest uh, race says the racial ethnic groups with the highest rates in 2023 were, do you want to take a guess? Who do you think, like,
Hispanics.
no, actually? So it says non-Hispanic American Indian slash Alaska natives at
That's the
20
highest?
at 23.8%.
Wow.
So it actually makes sense when you think about it because Alaska is one of those places that is dark for 6 months out of the year, right?
Yeah.
Um, the least is non-Hispanic Asians at 6.5.
Yeah, those Asians, man, they're pretty they can handle some oppression.
Hispanics actually only have an 8.2 suicide.
What about white and black?
Says non-Hispanic white, 17.6. Non-Hispanic Native Hawaiians slash other Pacific Islanders is at 17.3. Non-Hispanic multiracial at 9.2. And non-Hispanic Black at 9.1.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I could see men having a higher rate, because you look at, like, more men join the military, right? Military has a very, very high suicide rate.
Yep.
Men kind of, at least in the older previous generations, were raising their boys to, "You don't have emotions, you don't have feelings, like, we
Yeah, you
don't do
pushing them
that."
down.
Yeah, you bury it, you know?
Comes your six pack.
Yeah, so I could see why men would have a higher because they don't know how to cope. They don't know how to handle, right?
So there's a crude rate chart for ages.
Yeah,
It says 85 plus is at 22.7% for 2023.
and that's just because they don't what do they have to live for anymore? Especially,
Mhm.
like, if their wife is gone, their kids are out, gone, doing their own thing, and, like, they're
Yeah.
not staying involved. What the fuck do they have to live for? They don't have anything to do.
Yep. The second highest is 75 to 84. And then the third highest is 35 to 44 at 19.2.
What about teenagers?
So there's a 10 to 14, which is horrible that that's a number we
A
have to
thing.
have.
Yeah.
But that's at 2.3%.
For men?
Nope, this is just for everybody.
Oh, okay.
And then for women or for 15 to 24 is 13.5.
That's still pretty high.
Mhm. For women in 2023, it was only 5.9. Males was 22.7.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, men just don't deal. And I think they don't deal because they don't talk about they're not taught. I don't even know if it's just because they're not taught, like, maybe it's just ingrained that, like, they don't deal with that stuff. I don't know, or they don't know how to process it, you know? They don't have the emotional intelligence that women do. So I don't know if that's, like, a biological thing or if that's just it's been taught that way for so many generations that it just continues
I think
on and
men just get
continues on.
tired. I think they just get tired of pretending to be this perfect, strong rock, and they just get
Yeah,
tired.
probably. Yeah.
The number one suicide method for su- for suicide for the year of 2023, firearm. The second highest being suffocation at 24.37. and then poisoning at 12, and others at 8.2.
I can see it 'cause, there's a lot of things where people who have survived their suicide attempts, uh, they tell their stories and they come back to say that they regretted it the second they made the decision,
Yeah.
but it's really hard to regret if you pull the trigger.
Yeah. Yeah, so and there's something else too, that I think people don't realize, and I think that subconsciously women are more, dainty about suicide, if that makes sense. Uh,
They're clean. They're cleaner.
Men will cause a mess,
Yeah.
and women yes, there are cases, it's not 100% of the time, but men are the ones that shoot themselves in the head, they're the ones that, will put the gun in their mouth or whatever. They're the
Yeah.
ones that make the mess majority of the time. So it's very uncommon to find a woman that has caused a whole mess. It's why we slit our wrists in the bathtub so it can just be nicely washed down the drain and easily
Yeah.
cleaned up after, and
Yeah, yeah.
so
Or they
it's
suffocate themselves or they take pills.
yeah, so it's weird that that's what we're taught to do as girls is
Yeah,
to be
clean.
yeah.
Unless you go into a public women's bathroom,
Ugh.
then it's not clean. Yeah, I don't know, like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I think mental health for both genders is really important, but I think the younger generations of men definitely need to be in tune. Like, Damien says it on the podcast all the time, like, if a man comes and cries, like, no woman's gonna wanna be with him. Well, I mean, yes and no. Like,
Right, there's a time and a place for everything.
yeah, like, if you're crying because your Corvette got a dent,
Bruh, chill out. Yeah,
I need you to fix yourself, sir. But, like, your mom dies or, your fucking, I don't know, childhood dog dies or something and you cry about it, like, I don't think anybody's gonna judge you for that, or, like, you get laid off from work and you're already overdue on your bills and you're fucking stressed. I think if you take a few minutes to cry about it, to just get the emotions out, I don't think anybody's gonna judge you for that. Now, if you show up on a first date and you're talking about how you lost your fucking hamster when you were 12 years old and you break down crying, like, yeah, she might not call you again.
right. So I think that's something else too that I think men need to be in tuned with their I don't wanna say femininity 'cause that's not it, but their emotions as well as, like, just there's a time and a place for everything, right?
Yeah.
Women rely on men to be that rock, that, um, stability in their lives,
Yeah.
and I think just recently I kind of understood the severity of that. So we lost a dog in December, Atlas, in December of
Yes. The goodest
it'll be
boy.
it'll be 2 years ago this December. So about a year and a half ago, and I remember I did all the crying, all of it, and, I don't remember ever seeing him cry, but I
Yeah.
remember there was a point where we took him to the emergency vet, in Vegas, and, Damien took a minute behind the car, just took a minute, and I was so wrapped up in myself that I couldn't be like, "Hey, are you okay?"
Yeah.
And even now, here we are a year and a half later, and he won't like, I still have meltdowns over this dog, like,
Like,
he
yeah, yeah.
was yeah, and even now, he won't talk about him. He won't
Well, yeah,
he
because
won't
it's easier to not talk about it because then he doesn't have to get emotional about it.
yeah, he doesn't have to feel the feelings,
Yeah.
and it's wild because I was such a mess that he was so busy being the rock for me that he would take his time away from me so that he didn't, I don't know, appear weak or something in my brain, which
It's so funny to me because Damien and I talk about this. I
what?
We talk about, like, so shortly after Atlas had passed him and I had talked about it. And "Hey, are you doing okay? Like, are you good?" And I'm dealing with it." He's like, in the moment, in the first, few days and week afterwards, he's like, "I was so wrapped up in taking care of Sonia and making sure that Sonia was okay and that, because it hit her hard." And I was like, "Right." I was like, "But it's hitting you too. Like,
Right.
it's hit you too." And he's like, "Yeah." And he admitted that, like, it was hitting him that Atlas had passed.
Yeah.
But in the moment, he didn't want to he couldn't cope with it in the moment, he couldn't acknowledge it in the moment because he wanted to make sure that you were okay first,
Right.
you know? But I think that goes for both parties in a sense, like,
Yeah.
there's moments in any given relationship where you kinda have to put your stuff aside to deal with the other person's stuff and make sure that they're good
Absolutely.
to go. And then you acknowledge your stuff on the ass end, right? And then it comes back full circle, and now it's the other way around, you know?
Yeah.
So, uh
Absolutely. But I
excuse
think
me,
that's
like, I
like the
think it goes
norm
both
for
ways.
men.
Yeah, I
Like,
think it is. I think it's a normal for them to kinda shove their stuff away and put it in the back of their mind, and then later acknowledge it and deal.
yep.
So which, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, it's just as long as you acknowledge and deal eventually. You can't just stuff it away, stuff it away, stuff it away, and never deal with it
And
because everything comes out.
I think that's what men are so used to doing. They just
Yeah, and I see it.
will.
I see it with my son. Like, you know, um, like, earlier this week, I got onto him because he every Tuesday, they bring home a folder with all their graded work,
Mm.
and I was going through all his graded work, and he had late work, and I'm like, "Bro, why do we have late work? Like, you got a D on this assignment all because you turned it in late,"
Yeah.
you know? And he's like, "Well, I just forgot about it." I'm like, "What do you mean you forgot about it?" I'm like, "Bro, we have time outlined after school when you get home, the first 30 minutes is homework." And I don't go over the 30, like, I refuse to go over 30 minutes. Like, if you need more than 30 minutes, you can do the rest of it at school. That's what school is for. So
I
you get
agree.
30 minutes for homework. That's it. After that, we're shutting school off. We're not dealing
Yeah,
with
you
school
just
stuff.
did 8 hours of schoolwork.
Yeah, like, we're shutting school off. You wanna do it over the weekend? Cool, do it over the weekend. But after the 30 minutes, we're wrapping it up, we're shutting school off. And, so yeah, so he was getting, like, D's on assignments because he was turning them in late. And I'm like, "Bro, what are we doing?" Like, we've had this conversation so many times about turning our work in
Yeah.
because it is such bullshit that you're getting an F or a D on assignment because you're turning it in late. Like, you have it with you, it's in your backpack 24/7. I know your teacher asks for it. So what are we doing?
Yeah.
And then he had a math assignment, and it was like a study thing, so I know his teacher is helping him on it, and he got a fucking D on it. And I'm like, "What are we doing?" I'm like, "Where's your work for this problem?" And he's like, "I don't know." And I'm like, "What do you mean I don't know?" I'm like, "Did you read the question and it was just so challenging by reading it, so you just guessed and you got it wrong anyways?" And he's like, "Well, I don't understand it." And I'm like, "Okay, cool. Then ask your teacher about it, right? Like, that's what you're supposed to do." And he's like, "Well, that's embarrassing." I said, "Okay, well, what's more embarrassing, getting an F and getting held back or asking a question in class?" "Well, we're moving, so nobody will know." I said, "Son, if you think nobody will know, they will know." I said, "What's gonna happen when you are a
Yep.
12-year-old who's still in 5th grade when you should be in 6th?" "Well, I just won't tell anybody my age." I said, "Yeah, good luck with that. You're not that type of kid. Somebody will come and ask you, and you're gonna tell them."
Especially with as tall as he is.
Mhm. I said, "Everybody's gonna know." I said, "You're the 3rd tallest kid in your class right now." I said, "What's gonna happen if when we move and you're the tallest 5th grader around? Everybody's gonna be asking questions. 'Why are you so tall? Why are you
Mhm.
so tall?' And you're not gonna have the, 'Oh, I started school late,' or 'Oh, we moved, so I had to do whatever,'
I
or
had to repeat because I didn't make the cut, whatever.
yeah, like,
Whatever the case.
you're not gonna have, like, a logical, 'Oh, that makes sense.' You're just gonna be like, 'Oh, I got held back. Oh,
Right.
I failed last year. Oh, I'm 12.' And everybody's gonna be like, 'We're 10 and 11. How is it you're 12?' People and kids aren't stupid, it's gonna add up, they're gonna know." I
Yep.
was like, "So you think that nobody's gonna find out? People are gonna find out." and he just instantly lost it, and I was like, "So what are we doing? Like, what are we doing?" Because if I have to reach out to Miss your teacher and be like, "Hey, is struggling with ABC, can you help him out?" I'm like, "That's your job as a student, like, I don't know what you're struggling with
Yeah.
unless you come and say, 'Hey, I'm struggling with this.'" But they do math so
So
fucking
different.
and I'm like, "This doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, I can't help you with that." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so fucking weird. So, like, we can't help him with his math. So I'm like, "Bro, I don't know how to do this shit." Like, I know how to do it my way, but given the information that's listed here, I can't even do that because there's not enough info. And so I'm like, "You need to talk to your teacher." But it's embarrassing. Well, failing is
And
also embarrassing. So
why is that a thing? Like, that's the other thing that I don't understand. Like, why are men taught that it's not okay to ask for help?
I think that's just kids in general because we have the same issue with one of our girl children.
But
I
grown
don't
men
know.
are the same exact way. They won't stop and ask for directions because their pride doesn't allow them to. They won't ask for like, how do I put this together? Because their pride won't allow. Like, where does that stem from?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know. And I know some women are kind of like that, like they're very prideful and stuff. Like I'm very prideful of my stuff, but let me tell you right now, like, bruh,
If I
in
don't know how to
class,
do it, I'm gonna ask.
I am. If I
Yeah.
don't understand something, hey, I don't get that.
Yep.
Can you explain better? Can you break it down better? Like I am the first person to ask questions because what I don't want to do is look like a complete fucking stupid person and fail.
Yeah.
Not doing
Exactly.
that. I'm not repeating a class.
I think that I think that that goes into the mental health though, right? Like when I talk to my mom, it's so funny because she's like, I don't know like who this kid is. Like, who are you? Like, I would never say these things. I'm like, okay, but you want your kids to be stronger than you were, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like for women, like we're learning how to be more mindful of like current situations around us and stuff like that. But I don't feel like that's the same for men. Like I feel like men are still taught to, push it down into your stomach. Don't allow your feelings to come out. Don't. And I feel like that's why their suicide rate is still so high.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think dads just got to do a better job. Like they got to realize their lack
Yeah.
of communication, not even lack of communication, just lack of acknowledgement. Like I don't care if you communicate about it or not, but at least acknowledge it and deal with
Yeah.
it and
Yeah.
cope with it. Even if you don't go see a therapist or you don't talk to your wife about it or your girlfriend or your boyfriend or whatever you have, at least acknowledge it and be like, okay, I'm pissed off because ABC.
Mhm.
Why is that pissing me off? How do I readjust this to not be pissed off? Like, and it takes time, right? Like, it
Right,
doesn't
obviously.
come naturally. Like, you're gonna have to work on it every single day. Um, so just work on it. Like, at least acknowledge
Yeah.
your emotions, acknowledge your feeling. I'm fucking pissed off. Okay, cool. I'm upset. I feel like I could cry. I don't want to cry, but I feel like I could cry and work through it. Like, at least fucking work through it. Like, journal.
And
Do something, dude.
yeah, find some sort of hobby that allows you to just let go. Whether
Yeah.
it's video games, whether it's fishing, whether it's you go out for a walk, whether it's whatever the case may be, figure out a way to take that moment for yourself so
And
that
deal.
you can process and
Yeah.
deal the way that you need to process and deal.
Yeah.
Not
And
everything is the end of the world.
don't give me the bullshit excuse, "Well, I never have time to go fishing." Bro, you have time for go fishing, you just gotta make time for it, like, instead of doing the honey-do list this weekend, go fish. Don't be gone 12 hours, but go fish.
I guarantee you, if you look at your wife and said, "Hey, babe, I need some me time," as long as it's not like a ritual, right? If you go fishing every freaking Saturday for 12, 14 hours a day, she's probably gonna look at you and be like, "Hey, can you spend this weekend with me?" But if it's something that you enjoy doing and you do it once in a while and you need a minute, you need a minute
Yeah,
and
like
allow yourself those minutes.
yeah, at least to just, like, deal,
Yeah.
just deal. Like, bro, fucking write about it, burn it, and be done with it. Like, at least acknowledge it, you know? in some way, form, or fashion. Like,
Yeah.
go get a fucking punching bag and hang it up in the garage and beat
Yeah.
the living fuck out of it. Like, just acknowledge it and move on
Yeah, absolutely.
so that you can better deal and cope.
I think we I think everybody realistically needs to do better with their mental health anyway. I also
Yeah.
think that people need to realize that, yeah, the whole "I'll sleep when I'm dead." Okay, but if you work yourself to death, what was it for? What was the
Yeah, like, what did
purpose?
you live for? Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you live for?
And I think that's where the mental health aspect of it, like everybody needs to do better, not just one gender or the other. I
Yeah.
mean, women need to do better at not dismissing their men's feelings. Um, and I think partners in general just need to do better of acknowledging each other's feelings and not brushing it off. But if your man is sitting there telling you like, "Hey babe, like I had a really, really rough week." All right. You want to vent about it? Do you want to take it out on me? Do you want to what? What do you want to do? How do you want to handle this? And allow them to do that. And
Yeah.
by take it out on, I don't mean like let him beat on you. I mean like take his ass into the bedroom and let him like dick you down a little. Let him take it out on
Yeah.
you.
Let him get it worked out. Let him
Yeah.
work it out of his system.
If you're a
Yeah.
lesbian, shit, strap it on, dick her down. Who cares? Like, just
Figure it
fucking,
out.
yeah.
At
Stop
least it's
taking
at least
life
it's
so
a good at
serious.
least it's a good time for both parties.
Yeah,
But
exactly,
yeah,
exactly.
find a way. Like, get a fucking punching bag, dude. Like,
Yeah,
get your own piece of wood and fucking hammer fucking nails into it till you're like, "You know what? I'm satisfied.
yeah, I
That
feel
was good.
better.
I needed
Yeah,
that. Now I'm not so pissed off." Or
yeah.
now I'm not so upset or whatever the case may be. I think men also, like, I feel like they don't know that there's more than 2 emotions, you know? It's like
Yeah,
they're either happy or they're pissed off, and, like,
yeah,
there's no like, they don't know that there's
and in between.
in between, and that also, like, you can be multiple at the same time. Like,
Yeah,
you can be pissed off and, like, distraught or, like, irritated, like, all in one,
yeah,
or you can be really, really excited, but also, like, kinda sad at the same time,
yeah,
like, depending on what it is type shit,
yeah.
you know? So, like, there's never just one emotion. It's never just one.
I
It's
don't know, I
never
feel like they're like Nintendo 64s and only have, like, one lane.
maybe. I don't know. But yeah, like, I mean, you can be multiple things at the same fucking time.
Yeah,
Like, I'm figuring that out with my son right now because he doesn't acknowledge more than like 2 emotions. It's either happy or
pissed.
mad and upset at the same time. Like, that's it. And it's like, what's in between there? It's like the slinky, you got the either end of the slinky, but there's also a shit in the middle. Like, what are we
Yeah,
doing?
yeah, for sure.
I feel like all adult men need the little flashcards with the faces and the emotions. You know what I'm
Which
saying?
one are you currently feeling?
Let's lay out all 24. Which ones are you feeling right now? Okay, we're
Yeah,
happy, we're irritated, and we're all upset at the same time. Okay, let's break this
sweet.
down.
Let's
Let's break this down. What are
yeah,
we happy about? Yeah, yeah, I feel like men they need the sign,
yeah,
you know?
I agree.
Yeah.
What
We'll
feels
just
like a
figure it out.
good stopping spot. Um,
Yeah,
and,
I like
this
it.
will be uploaded. I'll probably make this for Wednesday, I think. Yeah.
I'm here for it. I'm here
Yeah,
for it.
and then we'll make this a normal thing.
You Wednesdays, giggles and goals, coming out
Yeah.
strong with the giggles from the get-go.
Yeah, 44 views. Whoop, whoop.
Oh, we got another subscriber today too.
Oh, sweet, sweet. That's
Yeah,
exciting. Keep it
yeah.
coming. Tell your
I don't
friends.
Yeah, tell your friends, tell your family, tell
Tell
your
your dog I said
cat,
hi.
tell your cat. I said, "Psst, psst, psst." I need to get like
Alrighty.
a. Have you seen the comments that people leave, and it's like the stick figure with a weird head, and he's got the bag, and it's like. "Psst, psst, psst." I feel like I need to get a bag, and I was like. "Psst, psst,
It's a bag of catnip.
psst." All right, boo.
Okay. I will talk to you in a little while.
Yes,
And yeah, this felt good. This felt
I
good.
did.
All
This next
right.
episode, our future episode, I'm about to be heated.
Sweet. Love
Yeah,
it.
I'm here
All
for it.
right. Bye.
Lee.